Hey guys, good morning. I hope everyone can you see my slides? And let me know if you can see it.
Yes, all good.
Okay, fantastic. Again, what a privilege and really welcome to this, I guess, session number 2 for day 1. It's called Now, Next, and Beyond, and it's really around the innovations for the future of built environment. Not necessarily everything that is purely Johnson Control. I'm going to keep this session pretty light for us to interact, but to show you a bit of the art of the possible, right? To kind of talk about what are the technologies that are available today for the built environment, which I think a lot of you are familiar with, and what's next over the next 6, 9, 12 months. And then beyond, it's really around our partnership with NUS, National University of Singapore, and the School of Design and Environment. And, we'll showcase some of the great work by both the professors, the PhD students that have been doing, just to give you a glimpse of what the beyond looks like. And then, we're going to open up for dialogue, questions, and, and Benson and Daniels will help me with that. All right. So let me quickly kickstart. My name is Alvin. I lead Johnson Control's digital business across APAC. So all things to do with IoT in buildings, smart FM. If you think about the future of where autonomous building is going, that entire journey, that's not what I want to spend a lot of time talking about Johnson today. I want to more expose you to some of the technology that we are playing with, that we are building, but more important, that we are partnering with our ecosystem, and then research and innovation with our partners like NUS, the National University of Singapore. So just a quick overview of Johnson Control for those of you who do not know. 135, 37-year-old company. In fact, I think we are 137 starting this year. Huge domain experience over the last 100+ years. One of the largest, if not the largest, building technology players in the market. End-to-end, a pure play company that does nothing but in the built environment and the advanced technology that goes into the built environment. So we don't deal with any other technology other than everything that goes into the built environment and the surrounding. We have 90% installed base for the world's most iconic building, right? Our technology is in Jewel, our technology is in Marina Bay Sands. We have it in Burj Khalifa. So all the largest and the tallest building around the world, both in China, around the world, and in Singapore as well. And then we are also been spending a lot of money investing in what we call moving our company from an industrial company to a digital industrial company. So all things around platform, so the built environment platform, application, what I call the optimization and analytics engine, and all things AI, machine learning, and how do we begin to learn from the data that we are collecting. And lastly, we play in the game of what we call an ecosystem world, right? We are really good at what we do in the built environment, really around the HVAC systems, the building management systems. But as we evolve into digital, we are more human, more and more human-centric. At the same time, we don't have all the capabilities, so we open up. Our platform is open and modular. We work with a lot of partners across board, especially the large tech companies, to actually go to market. So if you see here, the way we think about outcome really around domain and digital. And to us, domain is critical, but we believe that digital becomes the enabler. And digital is really now driving how I term, moving from sustainability reporting in the world that we live in, being in a green plan, green economy in Singapore. Traditionally, we report on sustainability, but sustainability is becoming what we call sustainability management. So all things needs to move from events-based to continuous-based, move from static to dynamic, monitoring, analyzing, and driving control. And this is really enabled and scaled by digital technologies that we have today. Okay. So as we kind of think about the world of the built environment and the vision of Johnson Control, this is generally what we think about, right? To be able to kind of think about the, building a human-centric space with technology designed to create experiences that drive sustainable environment for the future. So that's really what we think a lot about. And we define resilience as digital transformation, sustainability, and experience. And experience is really centered around wellness and well-being and health, right? So if you think about the three factors and the intersection point of what we call technology, space, and people, you begin to see a lot of very interesting outcomes as you intersect the three pillars. And I call that intersection point the autonomous or the cognitive resilient building of the future. Things that will become more autonomous, more cognitive, will become smarter, right? So if you think about space, you think about mobility intelligence and spatial intelligence, data points that you can actually collect today, right? So, how you design the space, how you put sensors on your tables, how people move from place to place within a built environment, how do you track them with your watch and with your cameras? How do you know where people congregate and they move around? And especially in the pandemic times and in a way to attract people back to work, being safe, being secure, this entire mobility and spatial intelligence becomes really important. Technology, this is where we are really good at as a company, building technology intelligence, security intelligence. That's what we play in. As you know, Johnson Control is a HVAC player, building management system, security, and then fire and safety. But then people, as I mentioned, people-centric is becoming critical in everything we do, human-centric design. But if you think about people, you think about wellness intelligence, your Fitbit watch, the people that you have this ability to track that fitness. But then also behavioral intelligence, collaboration, how people are coming together to increase productivity. And then more so in a world of the new future of work, why people are coming back, the purpose of the spaces that you have. So as you see all this coming together from transformation to wellness to sustainability, that intersection point, it's where I think we are all excited about that art of possible, that the amount of new and interesting outcome as this data are being mashed together, those outcomes are something that we have been very passionate about as a company. So as we move into understanding that vision, we globally as a company, we have a lot of innovation sites, but more importantly, we've built and partnered with Economic Development Board of Singapore and NUS to really develop our Open Blue Innovation Center. And I do welcome to reach out to me if you're interested in kind of really partnering with us or even spending time with us around what we do. We do a lot of work around platform and solution engineering, research and innovation, especially around the areas of AI. We have ecosystem where we bring our ecosystem together, and then more importantly, with our customers, solution innovation and co-creation. So let me touch about how I define now, next, and beyond. Right now, our technologies that we see today, that we can feel and we can touch and that we execute. Just giving a quick small idea of what we call virtual reality tours that we can even do today. Next is where we are really evolving. I mean, digital twins are in existence and in functioning, and how we are evolving digital twin into twins that are what we call operate twins. So operate twins and design twins are now intersecting, and how do we really drive that? And then thinking about the future, right? How artificial intelligence, how devices, 3D spaces, how these are merging and coming together. So let me start with now, and these are the technologies for today, right? So we do video analytics and facial recognition. We do IEQ optimization reports and dashboarding. We do wellness dashboard. We do track sustainability. We do enterprise management of energy. So these are a lot of the technology that we as a company do today. But more importantly, the way we believe is that it's no longer facility-centric. As we think about the built environment, it's now becoming more human-centric. So you think about it that traditionally we call facility managers. We now in a built environment, we call them experience managers, where that engagement with the return to work, the future of work, And this is where we develop our platform of what we call our companion application for the now, the ability to visitor management, asset management, room booking, creating experience, social distancing. So all the ability to really manage that space, at the same time, bring the power of technology to the hands of the human, right? Very similar to like a Google Map. Google Map has now the ability to intersect between, traffic data, to weather intelligence, to fuel, to food and restaurants, integrate all the data together to give the power to the human being to make that decision as he moves from point A to point B. That's what we are trying to build. We have now developed an application that allows that to happen. And if you look at our innovation center, we have different pockets, and the way we design in collaboration to what we call human and technology integration. And how do we find space that we can move into that fit the purpose of the future and the different spaces that we have. And we did this even before pandemic. And this is becoming real in terms of what we're doing. So let me quickly show you a quick video of what we do in that space and how do we use our application. Let me know if you can hear or you can't hear. Hope you enjoy that. This is really what's the now, right? We have this on the 5th floor of SDE4, which is the first net zero building in Singapore. And we had an amazing privilege to be part and parcel of this journey with the university. So let me just quickly talk about the next, right? And in the next, we are looking at building environment technologies in the next 6 to 9 months, and probably over the next 6 to 9 months that this will, and we are beginning to already, for customers that are really out there, are beginning to deploy a lot of these, right? Really leveraging things like knowledge graph, artificial intelligence. Some of you are very aware, 3D digital twin visualization, which today there are a couple of customers already deploying. We believe that this will become more prime time. Smart workplaces, we talked about that. That now we are beginning to see more and more people doing it. And then cyber, as the buildings are more connected and more connected to the internet, cyber security becomes a critical aspect of that technology that we need to really think about. So if you look at what we've been doing to take a look at things like what we call campus twin, we're also doing a lot of equipment twin. How do you do predictive maintenance? How do you get visibility? Space twin. But more importantly, that as you kind of triangulate, right, the different tagging points between location, events, assets, and people, this gets really complex, especially within the built environment. And therefore, the ontology, the topography becomes really critical as you build twins in order for every aspect of both location, event, assets, and people to actually interconnect together. So let me show you our partnership with a partner of ours that we've been spending a lot of time with to create what we call the next generation of the journey towards autonomous and intelligent building. Okay.
Buildings are always running, and some of the workflows requires operator to be manually involved. What if there is a pandemic where operators are not available? Or at remote sites where you have limited people on the ground? How can we make these workflows more autonomous? Senfi enables buildings to build autonomous rules that connect different sensors and control systems together. It helps you to easily manage all the building rules in a single place. In an autonomous rule, metrics of sensors are monitored and compared to conditions to detect events. Upon detection, response actions such as work order, system commands, etc. are automatically triggered in the control systems. For example, a visitor can register the visit at the kiosk, giving details like health and travel declaration, host to meet, face image capture. Upon successful registration, the visitor can proceed to the gantry. The thermal camera will automatically scan her temperature and, using facial recognition, verify the person against the visitor record. If her temperature is normal, and she passes all her health and travel declarations, the gantry door will receive command to allow visitor to enter, and based on her registered information, the lift will be called to automatically bring her to her destination level. This helps to ensure that visitors only visit designated areas according to registered information during times of pandemic for greater traceability. If any of the conditions is not fulfilled, the visitor will be barred. In another scenario, when a lift breaks down, the autonomous rule detects the event and automatically raises alerts on the operator dashboard. In the alert's description, preliminary information on what triggered the breakdown is provided. Simultaneously, work order will be sent directly to the servicing company. Or in a less urgent case, when a meeting in a conference room is ended, based on the meeting progress and cleanliness status detected, Senfi can dispatch a cleaning robot to tidy up the room, reducing the manpower required for cleaning services. If the cleaning robot dispatched is on a different floor from the target room, upon reaching the lift lobby, Senfi will send command to call the lift to fetch the robot to the destination level so that it can perform its cleaning task. Every day, security guards are deployed to patrol the building. In an urgent case where an intruder attempts to break into one of the building's unit, the forced entry can be detected automatically by access control sensor, and a double confirmation can come from nearby CCTV's video analytics. Upon detection of intrusion event, Senfi automatically raises an alert, providing description of where the event has occurred. At the same time, a notification will be sent to the nearest security guard to request for an investigation. For added safety, the operator can monitor the deployed security guard's location while the investigation is ongoing. Senfi enables customers to build thousands of these autonomous workflows or rules for their building. These autonomous workflows or rules will automatically handle alerts and events to manage buildings and portfolio of buildings. When trained, Senfi's autonomous intelligence can recommend best practices workflows for your buildings, acting like virtual consultants. Made for large-scale building portfolios, Senfi allows large-scale users to replicate entire rules database across their portfolio of buildings. Senfi makes autonomous operations possible. Users can designate workflows to autonomously run for their buildings and facilities. In this way, business operational continuity can be ensured, even if a pandemic lockdown occurs or there is limited manpower on site. Senfi enables you to easily manage all your autonomous building rules in a single place.
Yeah, thank you. And you can, let me just, hang on. You can see that, our partnership with G Element, which is the partner that built Senfi, they are really a visualization and a workflow engine, and the ingestion data management engine plus analytics and optimization energy for energy combines with our OpenBlue together with Senfi. We now provide a next solution for autonomous building. So again, we are really driving, and this is coming over the next 6 to 9 months. So let me talk a bit about Beyond, which is really our partnership with NUS and SDE. Just want to make sure that we share with you that these slides are part of the university. Just wanted to give you visibility to the amount of great work done by research and innovation that we in Johnson Control is really partnering with to really drive some of the advanced work, a lot to do with the AI work within the construction space. All right, so just to share with you that I think we've been collaborating together with the university in really developing an overall platform, from 5G, digital twins, all the intelligence coming into a platform to really look at it from the upstream all the way to the downstream. We as a company have been building a lot on what we call the operate twin and the downstream, but on the upstream is where I think there's a lot of good research work that's been done. There are 3 big focus areas around driving building optimization as we build it, and at the end of the day, as we function and we operate it. And the 3 big beyond areas that we talked a lot about at a university level and research level is parametric structural optimization, ML-based generative design, and then lastly, data-driven intelligent FM system, taking it to a different level. Right. So let me just start with the parametric structural optimization. It is really around, a lot of the work, if you can see from it, it's self-explanatory. It's a very complex way, and I think a lot of you are architects here, that if you kind of think about trying to drive and test, whether it be the wind loads, it becomes really difficult. But if you split them up, you put them into that whole AI mechanism to really drive it, and then understanding how the optimization happened. And this is something that the school's been spending a lot of the time thinking about. Secondly, I think this is also quite common. It's been the last 2 to 3 years, generative deep learning, or what I call deep learning generative design. And how do we take all this design work and it begins to learn by itself, ingest different components, external data points, and it begins to create, as it learns, it creates the design. So this has been also a very powerful tool that the university's been researching upon, looking at, for example, a use case of a 32-story modular high-rise public housing, and how do you then look at the design of different flats as you kind of move along and what it needs. And all these are driven by computational ML, machine learning, and how this is coming together. All right. And then the focus tree, this is something that we've been, as a company, partnering and very passionate about. We call that BIM IoT intersection point driven by multi-agent system, right? How does all the ability to sense and respond with all the different data points that you're getting that is live and dynamic, and how do you pull this data together really in both a computational layer and more of also a visualization layer, and make it easy for people to adopt, deploy, and really drive productivity, right? This is a use case around how do we use that multi-agent system for simulation of of emergency evacuation, for example, right? So if you take a look at from scenario 1, as we built the models and the scenario, to scenario 4, to kind of, when you call for a fire emergency, it takes 2.5 versus if you do it properly with design and understanding and using the multi-agent system where all the data points are coming together, it takes about 1.7, right? So again, really, really unlocking the value of data. And the key, the art of this is how do you collect the data in a fashion and in a manner that the data is clean, the data is, that it's aggregated, but more importantly, can you read it? And if you can read it, how do you then generate insights? So get connected, get insights, and then from the insights that you get, how do you begin to use ML and AI to really drive optimization? All right. So maybe let me wrap up. I think, I shared with you around, the vision that we have, our partnership, but more importantly, what's now, what's next, and then I think what's beyond, right? That as we begin to spend a lot of time on downstream operational aspect of driving productivity, energy savings, I think there's a lot of work in technology that's moving upstream, where I think a lot of you who are on this call think a lot about. And again, I celebrate the idea that everything is human-centric. So this is an interesting example that we've been spending a lot of time with SSG, Singapore Skill Future, on defining the jobs of the future for the built environment, right? So one interesting thing we've been kind of understanding, from human resource to workplace productivity specialists, from facility managers to experience managers, from energy specialists to sustainability and wellness, and mechanical and electrical to data scientists, and space planners to human technology integration expert. So a lot of, as we move towards what I term cognitive and autonomous building of the future, some of these roles are beginning to evolve, and therefore you need to begin to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and layer those skills, horizontal skills like digital and sustainability, across a lot of the functions that we have today. This is my last slide, just to share with you, we are excited as a company that, we look at our world and we look at the built environment as people, places, and planet. Right. And if you look at people, very focused around health, wellness. So a lot of the capabilities, both our hardware, software, our services built around that whole capability, addressing the outcome of health and wellness. And then for places, really around safety, security, operational, smart FM. And then for planet, very focused around energy, driving net zero as a service. We recently launched, our business model and our offering around net zero as a service. So focusing on the planet, focusing on sustainability has been very key to us. So with that, thank you very much. I hope I did it in time. Back to you, Benson or Daniels.
All right. Thank you very much, Alvin. That was very insightful. In particular, I was very impressed with the technology that the video on OpenBlue showcase, in particular the app showing how easy it is to navigate through the office in these pandemic times. So I think one of the questions that I have would be, how easy it is for any office to adopt all these technologies that were showcased in that video. And would the systems be proprietary to Johnson Controls? And, basically, how easy would it be for an aspiring office to adopt all these technologies?
So I think we think about the journey to more digital in three kind of pillars. We think of it, get connected. That means, do you have the right data points, the sensors? Do you have the right platform, the right application to collect the data? Then are you working with the right partners and application that gives you the right insights, the analytics that you need? You have a mechanism of collecting those data and the insights and be able to start learning from it so that you become more optimized, right? So that's kind of a quick summary of get connected, get insights, get optimized journey. But specifically to your question, you can do it today. It's an app that you can download. As long as you have the data points, we make sure that your BMS, your building management systems with controlling the air condition, the lights, and then ability to ingest your IEQ sensors and the data from that into the app, and then the app becomes that single pane of glass for the individual human and occupant, for him to not just navigate. So to me, it's technology adoption. We do provide that solution today. We have a lot of customers who has adopted, even in our innovation center in our living lab, we actually have that you saw. That's the real lab that I'm in right now in the office.
Yeah. I had the benefit of
it's real.
Eye opener.
Yeah, and we'll do this for the new project that hopefully we are in our partnership with ONG&ONG as well.
Yeah, looking forward. But so I was just wondering. So in short, you're saying that cross compatibility across different so-called existing interfaces, sensors.
Absolutely, because technology is so open today and it's so modular that technology is no longer the issue. Technology is one aspect of the entire transformation, and transformation involves people and process. And so that's why I end off by talking about that disruption in the way how work is changing, how our roles are being reskilled, retooled. How do we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn? And therefore, people is becoming a critical aspect of the entire equation. And then process is that whole cultural transformation, that framework, that journey that you need to take, right? And how you drive that. So technology is a piece that I think is the easiest, because advancement of technology is so quick and fast. And especially the last 1.5 to 2 years, pandemic has just shown us that technology is no longer a challenge. The challenge is how do we change mindset? How do we create new experiences is becoming more important.
Exactly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So what I really felt was also very interesting was that how jobs have, are going to evolve rather from these new experiences, how, we would actually pivot and actually create new jobs from all these new technologies. And I think that's the message of hope that I think your presentation brings, that
Absolutely.
The jobs we have now are not quite stagnant. They actually have a chance to evolve into something else, something more interesting with the new technology that we have. Okay, over to you, Dennis.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks, Alvin. It's great presentation. Okay, so for the benefit of audience who are architects, engineers, designers, right? In your view, what do you think? I mean, what do we need to prepare to ensure that the design are autonomous compatible? I mean, what do we need to prepare in the sense of preparing the designs or buildings? Alvin?
Okay. Oh, sorry. This is for me. I was talking.
Yes.
Can you just repeat the question again? It's regarding.
Okay. So for the benefit of So for the benefit of architects and engineers who design buildings, right? What do they need to prepare? As in, to ensure the design is actually autonomous, compatible, with all the visions of the next and the beyond.
So I think there is a lot of discussion right now with the tech companies that's a bit more upstream that the architects use, right? Whether be it the desk, be it the Dosalts, be it the Astries, the companies that deal a lot with the design twin on the upstream. And I think I think all of you understand, right? BIM and all that, and modeling, and architects have been using it for years. I think the question right now is, as you begin to build, that twin becomes that live optimization and scenario planning model for you, so that you lower your cost of construction, you get better accuracy in terms of translating design into actual execution, right? That's what design twins are for, right? And as you build that. But what happens is the moment a building finishes, that data not necessarily gets transferred to the operational downstream. And that link and the connection between design and operate twin actually traditionally has never been there, right? So you get the likes of the CBREs, the JLLs, or the real estate companies that manages their own, but they don't necessarily take a lot of the great work that is done up front with BIM models, with digital models that you have. It is now not translated to downstream, where it becomes more important as you think about maintenance, predictive maintenance, understanding the building in general. So I think what we need to take note of is we need to kind of figure out, and I think that we are doing a lot of work in that area of creating a platform or creating an environment where the design and the operate twin are actually coming together. All right. So that I think that's to think of this as a digital thread that is from upstream to downstream. And if you can create a digital thread that cuts across, then that becomes really powerful.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge is perhaps the current FM operators, or perhaps the building system. All of these requirements actually is not being well informed right at the beginning of the design process. Where there's a missing link here, like we don't, as an architects and engineers, perhaps they don't have enough information to prepare how to make it more compatible with the BMS system, for example, right? Yeah, I mean, this is part of the challenge these days. So I think a better connections, a better linked up between across all stakeholders, I think that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe let me answer also as well, Daniels, the two questions here. One is, JCI develop any initiative to provide sanitization? We don't. We actually partner. We are more of a tech company around that single pane of glass. So you want to look at sustainability as a single pane of glass. You want to look at smart FM as a single pane of glass. And when you have sanitization and all that, those data points come into that single pane of glass as for the smart FM, right? Smart facility management. So therefore we partner because our technology platform is extremely open. As long as we can ingest data, we can display it, and then it becomes a real good workflow and a single pane of glass for you to be in the cockpit, and you can see everything that you want to manage. What are your thoughts on privacy and ethics when it comes to a huge issue, right? I mean, depending on how you think about it, depending on real estate, there's always this privacy issue, and therefore you don't see a lot of that being deployed here in Singapore, facial recognition to enter. So you can choose. We are moving towards maybe even fingerprint, palm print, even eye, for example. If you look at China, this is a widespread deployment of facial recognition. That's China. Singapore, it's taking a very cautious approach. I mean, recently, I was in a condominium city, I think city residences. To enter, it's now facial recognition, right? Interesting. So all the condominium residents, I think 300 of them has agreed that, hey, I want to take this so that we can prevent anybody who come into the apartment. So again, I think privacy, and it's every individual, number one, and number two, you can vote no or vote yes, and depending on how you weigh between privacy and productivity, right, or efficiency.
Yeah, perhaps the last question, that one is, can digital twin be part of residential projects? I think that's, of course.
Yeah, yes. I think the answer is yes, right? I think the question is the digital twin, or what we call the design twin, that if as architects you think of digital twin, I call it the design twin, which is really way up front, right? I think it's important because it is a way for you to create scenario digitally, and that gives you insights into how you build the as-built versus the as-built models, right? And the design models. So that's becoming important. I think it becomes more important when you have to operate it. Generally, high-rise and residential, you don't really operate it unless it's really high-end. But other than that, that data that you're building up front needs to be, what I'm saying is, needs to be translated to the downstream, right?
Yeah, because normally we see like more on the hospitals, infrastructure projects,
Absolutely.
All these
Absolutely.
kind of a type of building typologies that needs more on the BMS sort of thing, or heavily invested in this kind of technologies.
I mean, based on what the question is centering on in terms of residential. How easy would it be to adopt the OpenBlue technology into, say, residential home? I would think that it will be something homeowners would benefit from as well, of course, on a more pared down scale.
Yeah, I think the question is more a bit also on ROI, right? I mean, if this a B2B, a corporate environment, employee engagement, social distancing, booking of meeting rooms, smart experiences are becoming more important. If you think about homes, unless you are saying really high-end homes, you got tons of facilities that you need to book, from barbecue pits to squash court, tennis court. You want a single way, you want to autonomously drive things are spoiled, your fridge, you buy things, then an app to connect the entire experience at a high end. So the answer is yes for residential. Question is how many people will actually buy it to sign up with it, right? Yeah. From that cost ROI and experience standpoint, a lot of people is like, I still want to be traditional. I don't want to be too connected. Is this privacy, is security? If I'm too connected, I don't want my life to be run by. I want to be able to still thumbprint, open the door, or use a key, open the door, stuff like that. So we have not found a successful model for residential, to be honest. It's more on schools, hospitals.
Sure, larger scale.
Yeah, larger scale environment.
Yeah. Okay, it's just an interesting thought, especially if you can somehow, make the product into a more retail-based kind of, offering. It would be quite interesting.
That's true. That's true. Great question.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Is there any more questions from the audience? Okay.
One more, right? With all systems implemented to manage all data points, I guess that there are many mixed technology involved for communication. See a consolidation in a few main technology standards. And yeah, so maybe let me answer this. I'm not sure whether I'll be fully answer your entire question, but the way standardization happens through different technology is the common denominator. It's the language that they use, right? So the ontology, the brick schema. So we've been, there's haystack, there's brick schema. If those of you who are familiar in the building and how you tag the various data points in the built environment space. We as a company is moving towards brick schema, and that's the work and the research that we are doing a lot. If you kind of tag correctly, you drive it correctly, then everybody speaks the same language. Then it doesn't matter what technology, because it's the same language, you can actually work with each other, right? So today, technology is able to ingest different protocols. But as you ingest different protocols, you still need to, as you build the building, you need to tag the sensor points and how the sensor points react. And so if you say this room has this light, this AHU, this, so all this tagging needs to be common. The moment it becomes common, you can automate everything much simpler. And that's the art of it. The art of it is to go on to a common standard of ontology, common standard of tagging, and that will allow. I think technology itself today is not a problem. Everybody can just write the software, do the conversion, and you get it, right? It's more the adoption of the tagging standards that needs to happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I add one more questions. Okay. You know that 5G is rolling out now, right? So how important it is for this implementation of autonomous buildings and smart FMs and the whole experience, of the journey, going to the building, up for the building or inside the buildings, that kind of thing. I mean, what do you think about 5G?
Yeah, so today, the 5G becomes really powerful when you saw in the video where you have a cleaning robot, you have you have things that needs to be run more robotic, more autonomous, right? If not, your wireless systems within your office is good enough. If you need the robot to keep continuously moving, then 5G indoor is. Problem with 5G indoor is becoming expensive, and there are certain blind spots. So I think technology needs to mature for indoor 5G. Outdoor 5G is a lot more widespread now, and it's a lot easier. Indoor 5G is where people, when I say indoor, means within built environment, within the lift shafts, built, panels and all that. You want to make sure that all that works, but more importantly, it is not at a price point where it can be widely deployed. The use cases are there. Price point is not where it needs to be widely deployed. So wireless is still a cheaper option, and there is a balance and the weighing off between. It's not continuous while 5G is, because wireless has many blind spots. Then with wireless, can you achieve what you need? But if everything else is robotic and automated, then 5G becomes very powerful. Okay, and that would be my comment.
Okay. And can that be applied to, say, the existing building that's already built, for example? I mean,
yes. Technology is so modular.
Yeah.
Again, right? Let me caveat that, right? I think if you talk about 5G and kind of like the wireless technology, yes. If you need to rip cables, rip aircon and all that, the answer is no, right? Brownfield. So, I think a lot of new projects now that I'm seeing is now having that end in mind, that protection of the future evolution of technology. So as architects design and build and think about the future, tech companies are becoming more and more important as partners to architects. So if there's one big thing that I would love to open up to the team, Johnson Control is spending a lot of time with architects. We are hiring architects ourselves as well, because we believe that technology is now no longer a kind of a pillar. Technology is horizontal. It's an enabler for the future. And therefore, architects are now spending a lot more time understanding how technology is impacting the life cycle performance of the building and the life cycle of the building across the value of the building. And I would say this, right? You think about Elon Musk. Elon Musk about 6-7 years ago talked about, the moment I pick up a key of a Tesla car, the value of the car increases, and people scratch their head and says, why? And here's what Elon Musk says: it is software-defined platform in the vehicle. Therefore, when you turn on the car, every 40 to 60 days, software gets upgraded to the car while through the air, and the car capability increases. And in his view, when car capability increases, my value of the car increases. The question is, can building of the future increase in value as a result of being more self-healing, self-adaptive, and self-maintaining? Can that actually happen? Can buildings be more software-defined, right, for the future? The jury is out. As a company, we think a lot about what's the future, and we are building capabilities that allow us to create that roadmap for the future.
And that's something I think we certainly can look forward to in a new old project that we're looking at together. So you're right. I think the question is, how do we make things renewable? And it's not just being green. It's to make use of what's already existing, what's
Absolutely
already expanded in terms of resources. How do we ensure its lifespan gets prolonged or even becomes infinite? Right? With technology, I think the possibilities are literally endless. Different permutations in evolution chain. And that's certainly something I look forward to engaging with you in the next few months, hopefully, Alvin. Okay.
And thank you for this time. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the audience, and please, reach out to ONG&ONG team or the BeyondX team to reach out to me. You can connect me on LinkedIn as well. More than happy to host you at our innovation center and spend time with you guys. All right. So again, thank you for the session. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, Alvin. It's a great discussion and great presentation that we have today on this. Okay, so yes, Benson, you wanna have
No,
some
so I
closing
think
comments?
that's all the time we have left for the presentation. I hope everyone found something useful to take away and ponder from what Alvin has shared. I am certainly excited, and we as ONG&ONG also look forward to sharing with the audience at large what we have in store with Johnson Controls in the near future. Okay,
Yeah, and
and thank you everyone, and we
Thank
look
you.
forward to the next session coming up for the day.
yeah, don't forget we still have the next session in the afternoon. It will start at 2 o'clock, right? So in fact, actually we have two sessions later. So 2 o'clock and another one I think is 3:30 if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So yeah. So stay tuned, and then yeah, if you have any more questions or anything, just write to us. We are on social media, BeyondX Digital, in YouTube and in also Instagram, and also check our website beyondx.digital. Any question, just send email to us, or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you all.
Thank you.